So once again, a short thought for the weekly Parsha. The secret of Netzach of Klal Yisrael, the eternal nation. Vayomer Avraham, Vayan Avraham v'yomer, Hinenu ho'alti ledaber, v'onoichi ofor ve'efer. V'onoichi ofor ve'efer. The dust of the earth and ashes. What does that mean? Libi yoimali. Brochas Yud Zayin Omid Aleph. Chazal bring various different tefillos, tachnunim, that the greatest of Amaroim said, Bigmar tefillosam, at the end of tefillas o Amidah. V'nafshi ko'ofor lechol tihiyeh. Toises explains, Ofor einoi mekabel kloya, kach zari yamod le'olam. You could destroy everything. Man invented the means of destruction, of unbelievable destruction. Everything could be burned, everything could be destroyed, besides the dust of the earth. Ofor einoi mekabel kloya. 2 atomic bombs were dropped on Japanese cities at the end of World War II. Hiroshima and Nagasaki, in a moment, were reduced to ashes. In ground zero, nothing was left. Not a leaf, not a tree, not a blade of grass. No living creature, not one structure. Everything was reduced to ashes besides the earth. We cannot destroy the earth. And Toises explains that is the tefillah, nafshi ko'ofor lachol tiyo. Ukemoishe kosav v'hoyu zaracho ka'afar ha'oretz. That is the Haftocha v'Kodesh Baruch Hu. V'hoyu zaracho ka'afar ha'oretz. Not in numbers, but in eternity. Mighty empires rose and fell, each of them having its moment of glory under the sun, and then sinking into oblivion. The Romans, the Trojans, the Babylonians, and many others. Klal Yisrael, a tiny nation, for thousands of years exiled from its homeland, not even a common language. But this is the people of eternity. Ki lo shochach mipi zaroi, v'hoyu zaracho ka'afar ha'oretz, and that is the tefillah. V'nafshi ko'ofor lechol tihiyeh. The Maharshal Alashas Brochas Yud Zayin writes, Va'ani shomati, interesting language. I heard another interpretation. Ma ofor hakal dorsim oleho, v'lebesof hi doreset al kol dorseho. The same applies to Klal Yisrael. We all abuse the earth. Every day we trample the earth. The earth is patient. At the end of the day, he always comes out on top. And each individual is buried after his demise. The Marshal writes, that is the story of Klal Yisrael. We patiently wait to the end of days. Ma ofar hakol dorse moleya v'lebesofi doreset al kol dorseya. That is our destiny. That is our promise. Voyu zaracho ka'afar ha'oretz. Avraham Avinu says, V'onoichi ofer ve'efer. Efer is ash. Ash symbolizes destruction. When you see heaps of ash, you can never know where does ashes come from? It could be some flimsy wooden hut. It could be the most magnificent palace. Fire reduces it all to ash. So ashes symbolize destruction. Afar symbolizes Netzach, eternity, hope. And Avraham says, V'onochi Afar ve'efer. That is the story of Klal Yisrael. Throughout the ages, we were reduced to ashes. Chorban bayis rishon, Chorban bayis sheni. And so many nisyonos and challenges and persecution and destruction throughout the ages. Its horrific climax in the Holocaust. Hitler, Yamach Shemoy Shem Rishon Yaakov, and the Nazis thought they would implement the final solution. They had a tragic mistake, and they too were reduced to ashes. And we are still around, and we will be forever. V'nafshi ka'ofor lechol tihiyeh. Beyond that, the side of Klal Yisrael is to turn ashes into life. And out of destruction, we are always born anew. So there's a popular legend in many different cultures about the sand bird, also known as the phoenix. So Phoenix is a big city in Arizona. What is the story of the phoenix? So the legend says it is a bird that lives 1,000 years. And then with its powerful wings, it soars up to the heavens, coming so close to the sun, it is scorched and reduced to ashes by the heat of the sun, and it is born anew out of the ashes. A legend, like many others? Not really. It's a medrash. Bereishis Rabu Perik Yutes. Slightly different, but essentially the same. And the medrash says, Oif echod yesh v'shmoi choil, sand, offer. The Bei Rav Yanai Amri, Rav Yanai, the great Amoira, in his school, they said in his name, Oif achol, chai elef shono, it lives 1,000 years. Eish yoitzeis mikinoi, fire explodes out of its nest, v'sorfesoi, and the bird is burnt and reduced to ashes. V'meshtayer boi kebeitza, umegadel evorim v'chai. 1,000 years, after 1,000 years, fire consumes it. It is reduced to ashes, and out of the ashes comes new life for another 1,000 years. And another 1,000, and another 1,000. Rashi, Sanhedrin Daf Kuf Omed Beis, writes, Of echod shmoi choil v'chai la'olam, and it lives forever. That is Ophar and Aphar. Out of Aphar, new life. The combination of Aphar and Ophar. And throughout the ages, so many tried. Haman, Hitler, Yamach Shemoy, trying to bring about the final solution, the final demise of Klal Yisrael. And they aren't aware that Avraham Avinu said, V'onochi ve'efer, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu promised Avraham Avinu, V'hayu zaracho ka'afar ha'oretz. That is the side of our eternity. Ma offer hakal dorsa moleya v'besof hi doreset al kol dorseha. My Rebbe, the Divrei Yatzav, the Kloisemer Rebbe Zechet Tzaddik Lavrocha, used to constantly quote, and I do the same, Rebbe Yanke Venden in his introduction to the Siddur, the Emden Siddur. I swear, he writes, Chai Roishi, Kasher ani misboinen bekiyum klal Yisrael v'golos, se'achas ben shivim ezevim. When I just think about and I contemplate the existence of Klal Yisrael throughout the ages, se'achas ben shivim ezevim, a sheep amongst 70 wolves. Godel hanes hazeh b'yainim hakol hanisim shenasu l'avosenu b'Mitzrayim b'yam u'b'Eretz Yisrael. To me, this is a greater miracle than all the miracles we were zeicha. B'yetzias Mitzrayim, Esem Makos, Kriyas Yamsuf, in Eretz Yisrael. And those words were written 300 years ago. And many times I think to myself, what would Rabbi Yankov Emden write today? After all we've been through in these 300 years, after the Holocaust, who would believe that after 80 years, this is how Klal Yisrael will look? That's the story of the sandbird. That's our story. So in the Wannsee conference, the Nazis came up with the final solution. We know what the final solution is. The final solution is V'nizgav Hashem levadoi b'yoyim hahu. B'yoyim hahu yihiyeh Hashem echad u'shmoi echad. That is the final solution. Shenezkeh b'korah b'yomeinu v'yozarachu kafar oretz. Life. And we should be zeicha to be as Moshiach tzidkeinu. B'mheiro v'yomeinu amen. Have a beautiful Shabbos. Good Shabbos to all of you.